It's the Dean Smith Show with your host, John Kilgo, and North Carolina head coach Dean Smith.
You know, assistant coaches in basketball or football never seem to get the attention I think they deserve. And I'm glad you had a chance to visit with Coach Roy Williams. Coach Williams has been with us a number of years, and he's turned down major head college jobs, and I think he'll probably be taking one, maybe next year, maybe the next year. He's a superb teacher and a very bright individual whom we think just does a fabulous job. Remember, we had Brad Doherty coming in. Roy had known the Doherty family, but those of you that saw Brad play, he always kept the ball up so little guys couldn't come in. Well, Coach Williams works with our big men and just does a fabulous job. So I'm glad you have a chance to meet him now.
Coach Roy Williams, one of Dean Smith's valuable assistant coaches, has been on the Tar Heel staff now. This is his 10th season. And Roy, people see you sitting on the Carolina bench over to Coach Smith's left. What is your role during a game for the Tar Heels?
Try to keep my heart beating until the game's over. It's a big, no, one of the things I do, John, is I try to keep a chart that says what offense we call and what the result was, whether we got a good shot, a bad shot, turned it over, what defense we call, whether or not the other team got a great shot or they turned it over. So I keep that, and then we look at it some at halftime and gives us an idea of which things are working and which aren't. And then I guess the other thing is just being a coach, and I make suggestions to Coach Smith, and luckily he doesn't listen to many of them, but every now and then some of them do pan out. But watching the flow of the game, during practice I work a lot with the big men, so I guess I watch them more than anybody else, but just to watch the flow of the game and make some suggestions.
Do you give those suggestions to Coach Smith while the game's going on before timeouts, or just all the time during the course of a game?
Try not to do too much. I try to do it during the game, and when the teams are coming off the floor for a timeout, we have a policy, and the right one, that during the timeout that Coach Smith does the talking. So if I have any suggestions as our guys are coming off the floor, I may say something to him then. And if during the timeout, if I thought of something else that I might want to have our guys brought to their attention, then I'll mention that to Coach Smith, and sometimes he'll grab one of the guys and say something to him then as well.
Roy, another thing that Roy does, of course, is recruits for the Tar Heel staff. Has that changed a lot in the last few years, recruiting?
It's changed a great deal. When I first came 10 years ago, we used to really make decisions who we wanted to recruit, you know, in September, October, November, and then make a decision who you wanted to offer a scholarship to during a young man's senior year in high school. Mm-hmm. And now, because of the early signing period and the recruiting calendar, you really have to almost make decisions on a young man during his junior year and have to really make that offer before he ever even plays a game in his senior year in high school. So that's the biggest change there, and that, along with all the, you know, it's immensely popular, the publicity that goes with it, and that makes it a little unusual. And then the other thing, 10 years ago, there used to be about 3 or 4 weeks of all-star camps and very little AAU play, and now there's an all-star camp every week, and there's an AAU tournament every weekend. So it's quite a bit more competition for the kids.
Hadn't they